Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. India-Pakistan tensions surge as both sides claims of drone and missile attacks. Nepal commits to support in fight against terrorism. Border security tightens amid the clash. Political parties prioritize loyalty over competence in governor appointment. Law prevents resignation amid growing tensions within Nepal Rastra Bank. Nepal Agricultural Research Council faces criticism for its research not reaching farmers effectively. Lack of mechanization hinders development of agricultural sector. And Manchester United books their spot in the Europa League final after a 4-1 win over Athletic Bilbao. Tottenham Hotspur clinches a 2-0 win over Bodo. As the conflict intensifies between India and Pakistan, missile and rocket attacks have been reported. India has stated that Pakistan attacked Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur and that explosions occurred even in the airport area. India has accused Pakistan of using drones and missiles to attack 3 of its military base camps. However, Pakistan has claimed that it did not carry out any of the attacks. It is reported that 31 people on the Pakistani side and 16 people on the Indian side had passed away by midnight on Thursday. India has claimed to have foiled Pakistan's attempted attacks on its base camps located in Jammu and Udhampur in the Indian-administered Kashmir and Pathankot in the Indian state of Punjab. On Thursday evening, power supply was cut off in Jammu city in the Indian-administered Kashmir after an explosion occurred in the area. Pakistan has claimed to have shot down 25 drones fired by the Indian side so far, while India has stated that it neutralized attacks from Pakistan through its air defense system. As the bilateral conflict intensifies, the international community has appealed for further restraint. The United States has urged both sides to avoid further escalation and exercise restraint. India launched security operations after a terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Kashmir, 2 weeks ago. Nepal has expressed deep concerns over rising tensions between India and Pakistan following the recent attack in Pahalgam, India. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has issued a statement reaffirming Nepal's commitment to stand against all forms of terrorism. The statement also recalled Nepal's prompt condemnation of the April 22nd attack in Pahalgam. Furthermore, Nepal has pledged not to allow its territory to be used against any neighboring country and expressed hope for de-escalation of tensions between India and Pakistan, calling for peace and stability in the region. Nepal has intensified border patrols and security checks along its boundary with India following the escalation of tensions between India and Pakistan. Following India's airstrike on Pakistan, the armed police force has conducted 312 patrols along the border. Yesterday's meeting of the Central Security Committee and the National Security Council reviewed the need for heightened vigilance, citing concerns over potential illegal border crossings and increased security challenges. In the past 48 hours, the armed police force has established 1,844 checkpoints and coordinated joint patrols with the Indian Border Security Force. Identity cards of travelers between Nepal and India have been checked and recorded. High vigilance has been maintained in 24 border districts with over 10,000 security personnel deployed along the Indian side. Additional patrols have been initiated in internal routes across Madhesh province, Kailali, Kanchanpur and other western districts. Lawmakers have stated that Nepal should support nations in the global fight against terrorism. Speaking at yesterday's meeting of the lower house, lawmakers emphasized that Nepal should support and cooperate with all nations in combating terrorism. Nepali Congress lawmaker Ramhari Khatiwara stated that ongoing conflicts such as the Russia-Ukraine and Israel-Hamas wars, UN foreign policy and India's counter-terrorism actions have increased Nepal's vulnerability. He urged the government to be prepared for the growing complexities of the current global landscape.
रूस र युक्रेन को युद्ध, इजरायल र हमास को युद्ध, अमेरिकी राष्ट्रपति को वर्तमान नीति, चीन ताइवान एकीकरण को प्रयास को प्रभाव, भारतले पाकिस्तान विरुद्ध आतंकवाद को विरुद्ध गरेको युद्ध जस्ता कुराले अहिले झन् जोखिम युक्त अवस्थामा हामी छौं भन्ने हामीलाई लागेको छ। यो समयको जटिलतालाई सामना गर्न सरकार तयारी रहोस् भनेर अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। साथै आतंकवादको विरुद्धको लडाईमा हामीले जुनसुकै देशलाई पनि साथ दिनुपर्छ भनेर अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु।
Parliamentarians from the main opposition CPN Maoist Centre called on the government to clarify its official position on the India-Pakistan conflict and urged that Nepali soldiers serving in the Indian army not to be drawn into the bilateral tensions.
पछिल्लो समय भारत र पाकिस्तान बीच उत्पन्न विवादको बारेमा नेपाल सरकारको आधिकारिक धारणा के हो माग गर्छु। धन्यवाद।
काश्मीरमा भएको दुई देशीय सांघातिक हमलाले मानवीय क्षति र आतंक फैलिएको छ, जस कारणले पाकिस्तानले लक्षित गरेको भारतीय शहरमा काम गर्न गएका नेपाली उक्त घटनामा पर्न सक्ने भएकोले उनीहरूको संरक्षण एवं उद्धारबारे र दुई देश बीचको लडाईँमा पहिलो प्रयोग नेपाली गोर्खाली सेना प्रयोग नगर्न भारत सरकार समक्ष गम्भीर छलफल र निकासबारे पहल गर्न सभामुख मार्फत सरकारको ध्यान आकृष्ट गर्न चाहन्छु।
Lawmakers also demanded a response from the Minister for Internal Affairs regarding alleged misconduct by the armed police force in Tarai region. They also questioned the Chief Commissioner's recent statement about the government's lack of cooperation in recovering corruption-related funds from abroad. Likewise, lawmakers raised concerns over irregularities in project appointments and tender processes, urging serious government attention. The issue of delayed fertilizer distribution and non-payment to farmers for milk sales was also highlighted in the Parliament session. Now, Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Dewa has stated that although the Prime Minister is willing to appoint a new governor, the process remains stalled within Nepal Rastra Bank. He noted that the resignation of Executive Director Gunakar Bhatta has not been accepted, raising questions about whether this delay is legally grounded or influenced by political interests. The ongoing uncertainty has further complicated governor appointment process, while the role of recommending parties in resolving the matter appears limited.
The position of governor at Nepal Rastra Bank should be held by a qualified and expert individual. However, political alliances have led to the appointment of a candidate close ties with the ruling party. An agreement was made between Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli and Nepal Congress President Sher Bahadur Dewa on 16th of April to appoint Gunakar Bhatta as the new governor. But the position remains unfilled. Bhatta resigned 20 days ago, and the acting governor, Neelam Dhungana, who is also a contender for the position, has not accepted the resignation, causing continued uncertainty within the institution.
Nepali Party का नेता केपी ओलीसँग हाम्रो गठबन्धन छ र उहाँले अहिले चाहिँ गठबन्धन कुनै समस्या क्रिएट गर्नुभएको छ, समस्या पनि छैन। अब जसमा कुरा उठाउनु छ कि राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कको गभर्नरको सम्बन्धमा उहाँले ल्याएको समस्या चाहिँ होइन, त्यहाँ राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कभित्रै आएको समस्या चाहिँ हो। हामीले भनेको उम्मेदवारलाई गाह्रो भइरहेको छ, तर हामीले गर्दैछौँ। उहाँ चाहिँ कागजलाई दिएपछि हुनुहुन्छ चाहिँ छैन फेरि।
The question arises as to how acting Governor Dhungana is maintaining the power to withhold Bhatta's resignation despite the legal provisions. According to legal experts, the resignation is valid under the Nepal Rastra Bank staff regulations, and there is no requirement to halt the appointment process even if the resignation is not formally accepted.
Normal situation ma kunai कर्मचारीले अवकाश लिन चाह्यो, सेवा कन्टिन्यू गर्न चाहेन भने त्यसको लागि चाहिँ विनियम 114 मा प्रष्ट व्यवस्था छ। विनियम 114 को व्यवस्थाले चाहिँ त्यहाँ राजीनामा स्वीकृत भइराख्नु पर्ने कन्डिसन राख्दैन। गुनाकर भट्ट सरको प्रसंग छ, उहाँको कुरो गर्दाखेरि उहाँले जुन मितिमा राजीनामा दिनुभयो 1 महिनाको तलब भत्ता बाबतको पैसा चाहिँ राष्ट्र बैंकमा जम्मा गरिसक्नु भएको छ। अब यो हिसाबले कानुनी रूपमा भन्दाखेरि पनि आजको दिनमा उहाँको राजीनामा स्वीकृत नभएको कारणले मात्रै उहाँलाई चाहिँ राष्ट्र बैंकको गभर्नरमा नियुक्ति गर्न कुनै बाधा छैन।
Neelam Dhungana, who served as deputy governor, was appointed as the acting permanent governor by the government on 7th of April. Dhungana has reportedly argued with staff that the acting governor does not have the authority to accept the resignation of an executive director. According to Dhungana, the new governor will be appointed only after Bhatta's resignation is processed.
गभर्नरको सबभन्दा ठूलो काम भने चाहिँ नोटमा सिग्नेचर गर्ने र कुनै समय कृष्णबहादुर महानन्दरले कायम मुकायम गभर्नरको रूपमा नोटमै सिग्नेचर गर्नुभएको छ। ती नोट अहिले हाम्रो खल्तीमा होलान्। भन्दै गर्दा राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कमा कायम मुकायम गभर्नरले कार्यकारी निर्देशकको राजीनामा स्वीकृत गर्न सक्दैन भन्ने कुरा त हुनै सक्दैन, त्यो अख्तियारी नहुने भन्ने कुरा हुनै सक्दैन।
Furthermore, it is alleged that Dhungana has expressed her discontent to colleagues, stating that the government is attempting to appoint a junior individual as governor while she holds the deputy governor position. In the Nepalese year of 2077, Bhatta was an executive director in the research department, while Dhungana was in the public debt management department.
पुरा थाई किसिमले गभर्नर भइदिएको भए अति राम्रो हुन्थ्यो। अहिले त अति आवश्यक छ, यसरी विलम्ब गरिरहनु चाहिँ हुँदैन। यसले चाहिँ राम्रो भन्दा धेरै नराम्रो नै गरिराखेको छ र राजनीतिक दाउपेजमा नै हाम्रा चाहिँ आदरणीय महानुभावहरूको बढी समय खर्च भइराखेको छ र देशको अर्थतन्त्र र जनजीविकाको सवालमा चाहिँ ध्यान चाहिँ जान सकेको छैन।
The current situation indicates limited progress from the ruling parties in addressing the leadership vacuum at Nepal Rastra Bank. As the appointment process becomes entangled in political interests, the focus on selecting a qualified candidate has diminished. Internal differences have further delayed the decision-making process.
Despite its 34-year history, the Nepal Agricultural Research Council (NARC) has faced criticism for its research not reaching farmers effectively. While the council has a strong presence in major crops like paddy, maize and wheat, it has not been able to expand its scope in vegetables and fruits. Likewise, despite recommending nearly 850 varieties of seeds, farmers are still compelled to rely on imported seeds, and Nepal lags behind in agricultural mechanization. Agriculture contributes about 1/3 to the national economy, and over 60% of the population relies on it as their primary occupation. However, agriculture mechanization has not even reached 24%. Many farmers are still forced to cultivate using plows, leading to increased production costs due to lack of mechanization.
कृषि अनुसन्धान भएको चाहिँ थाहा छैन, यत्रो मेरो भइसक्यो। उनीहरु चाहिँ शहरमा मात्र अनुसन्धान गर्छ, हामी जस्तो किसानकोमा चाहिँ अनुसन्धान गर्नु भ्याउँदैनन्।
हामीले खेतीपाती कोदो, मकै, धान, तरकारी बालीहरु अनि काउली, बन्दाहरु, लसुन, प्याजहरु नि लगाउँछ। हामीलाई अनुसन्धान नि आउँदैन।
In over 3 decades, the council has recommended 837 varieties of 86 crops. However, former officials of the council say there's a lack of coordination between the council and Department of Agriculture.
राज्य स्तरमा कसरी जाने र राज्यबाट पालिका स्तरमा कसरी जाने भन्ने कुरा एउटा स्पष्ट खाका तयार छैन, जसले गर्दाखेरि पहिला भन्दा पनि यो पछाडी गएको कुरा चाहिँ त्यसमा दुई मत छैन।
NARC has a strong presence in major crops like paddy, maize and wheat. The council developed seeds cover 35% of paddy fields, 73% of maize fields and 94% of wheat. Likewise, adoption rates are 60% for lentils and 46% for potatoes. However, improved varieties of seeds have not been produced for vegetables, where the country relies on imports for over 80% of its needs. The council officials argue that 48% of the total positions for scientists and staff are vacant, hindering their ability to work as expected.
धेरै जनशक्ति चाहियो हैन, एउटा कुरा। अर्को कुरा जस्तो नयाँ प्रविधि छ, म धेरै टाढाको एक्जाम्पल दिन, बंगलादेश र भियतनाम हामी भन्दा पनि पहिला कमजोर मुलुकहरू थिए, तिनीहरूले अहिले नवीनतम प्रविधि प्रयोग गरेर थोरै जग्गामा पनि धेरै फल्ने बनाएको छन्। त्यस्तो प्रविधि हामीले यहाँ भित्रमा पहल गरिरहेका छौं हैन, र त्यसको लागि चाहिँ अब एक जनाको प्रयासले हुँदैन, सबै यो चाहिँ माथि प्रधानमन्त्री तहसम्म जानुपर्ने हुन्छ।
The sector contributes 1/3 to the gross domestic product of the country. NARC is considered the engine of agricultural sector. However, questions are often raised about the effectiveness of its research. Given the government's high priority for this sector, there should be a positive outlook towards the council. The government has stated its intention to restructure NARC in the upcoming fiscal year's policies and programs. The goal of self-sufficiency in agriculture will not be achieved if attention is not paid to making NARC an attractive hub for agricultural scientists and crop development. Nepal is celebrating its 73rd Law Day today, focusing on strengthening public trust in the judiciary and ensuring justice for all. The day is observed in commemoration of the day in the Nepalese year of 2009, when the then King Tribhuvan affixed the royal seal on the Principal Court Act issued in 2008. Various programs, including discussions on topics such as easy access of citizens to the justice sector, good governance and increasing public trust, are being held today on the occasion of the Law Day. Now, the meeting of the office bearers of ruling Nepali Congress is being held later today. The meeting is being held to discuss issues such as the appointment of the governor and recommendation of office bearers to the transitional justice-related commissions. Leaders have stated that the meeting, which will be held at Party President Sher Bahadur Dewa's residence in Budanilkantha, will also discuss the policy and program brought by the government as well as current political developments. Amid the delay in appointment of governor, suspicion and distrust are increasing between the leaders of the ruling Congress and CPN-UMO. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.